Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now, last October, I think it was, we took a look at AMD's Athlon 200GE, a dual-core, 4-threaded processor with onboard Vega 3 graphics. And I said that for the money, $50 or £40 here in the UK, it seemed like a pretty decent deal for the price. So, I've been using it on and off in a system for the last half a year, and I want to give you my updated thoughts on it because it still seems like a popular choice among HTPC builders and some who want to build an extremely cheap gaming system with a very tight budget in mind. Now, while the 200GE isn't exactly a keen gamer, put it that way, it can still run some titles if you turn things down to 720p and you have a 30 FPS target in mind. Just take a look at a few of these benchmarks first of all. So while gaming hasn't been my primary intention with it, I have been mainly using it in the evenings after I've switched off my main system and I just want to sit down, browse the internet, browse a bit of Facebook, watch a bit of YouTube, things like that. And as it's been from the start, it's still absolutely perfect. Processing power wise, it's similar to an older FX 6100, at least according to Cinebench, but it feels a little bit snappier. Now, when talking about the 200GE, it's easy to bring up the Ryzen 3 200G, which really doesn't cost that much more and is quite a bit more powerful in terms of both processing and graphical power. So if you have the extra, I'm going to say right now that that would be the one to buy. But then again, that may be irrelevant to anyone who just wants a cheap browsing system that isn't going to be doing much gaming. That's sort of why I got the gaming tests out of the way first, just to say that yes, it is capable at the lowest settings, but if you're looking for something without a discrete graphics card, then the Ryzen 3 200G would be the one to go for at the moment. Funnily enough, I also tried a little bit of editing during my last half a year with this system. My main rig, the i5 GTX 1070 build, does sometimes have an issue with booting. It's happened a couple of times because I'm often swapping out hardware. Windows 10 decides to not enjoy it and refuse to boot. It's all fixed now, but during those issues I did switch this on in the hope to finish some of my editing jobs, and surprisingly in Premiere Pro and Photoshop CS3 the Athlon did okay. It's not a brilliant experience, you'll have to be a bit more patient as far as rendering times are concerned, but just know that if you do want to get started on YouTube, you have a very small budget and you want something on a modern platform, the 200GE can cope with editing. That's all I can really say. It can cope with it. It's not brilliant at it, it's not terrible at it, but it can do it, if that's any consolation to anyone. But here is what I absolutely love about the 200GE. It has reignited my passion in older games. The other day I was messing around with this system and I found it to be a pretty decent emulator. I've been running EPSXE, PCSX2 and PPSS-PP on this secondary Athlon based machine, and I have to say it's done quite well. And this is all while it's been passively cooled as well, so it's like a silent emulator budget machine, and to me it's perfect for that. Take for example the day that the PlayStation Classic released, a smaller version of the original PS1 that didn't accept discs. It had 20 games built into it and overall it was a huge disappointment. When that came out, I thought about buying it, and instead I thought, why not see if I can just emulate my games on this £40 or $50 processor, something that cost exactly the same as the PS Classic. To my surprise, well, it handles those emulators just fine. I mean, I've been able to play the majority of my PS1 collection, my PS2 collection, and my PSP collection. There are a few exceptions and there will be a few slowdowns here and there, but for cheap emulation, well, the 200GE may just surprise you. And that's not going to be something that's appealing to everyone, but for those out there who like emulation, or they like the idea of it and want to get into it, and more importantly have a cheaper budget, this may just be the way to go if you want something brand new. With all that said, I think the 200GE still does a pretty decent job, and it's ideal for those on a tighter budget even in 2019, and those who want something brand new instead of going down the used route, which is of course something I'd recommend every time. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on what AMD are going to be releasing in what could possibly be the very near future. With all that said, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this look back at the Athlon 200GE, my updated thoughts. If you use one of these on a daily basis, let me know down in the comments, and also let me know what you use it for. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, a dislike if you didn't, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.